Okay, let's revise dividend. This is which chapter? Chapter 8 of Companies Act. The section numbers covered under this chapter are 123 to 127. That's it. Chotu chapter. This chapter applies to what type of dividend? Equity. Dividend paid to equity shareholders. Correct? Preference shares ke liye do we use this chapter? No, we do not. So this dividend is basically the amount of profit that is available to the shareholders, which can be given either as a final dividend or as an interim dividend. This is paid to the shareholders in proportion to the amount that is paid up, only and only if permitted by articles. And this is given where? Under section number 51. Preference shareholders get a preference for dividend, and this dividend ka chapter doesn't apply or is not applicable if it is section 8 company and default is committed in section 73 as well as 74, as long as this default continues. So there is a prohibition on payment of dividend in these two cases, section 8 and default of 73 and 74. What is 73? Acceptance of deposits from members, and 74 is Purana wala. Correct. Okay. Now what happens over here? Wherever company wants to pay dividend, firstly it will declare the dividend at a general meeting. Once it declares the dividend, what should it do? It should be transferred to a separate bank account within 5 days. But this condition is not applicable to a 100% government company. Means a government company in which the entire paid up share capital is held by CG or SG or together by CG and SG. Correct? Then dividend has to be paid. It will be paid within how many days? 30 days. 30 days of the date of declaration. It will be paid or it will be posted. To whom? To the registered shareholder or to his order or to his banker. And how will it be paid in? Either cash or check or dividend warrant or even by electronic mode. Can it be paid in terms of any goods? No. So it cannot be paid in kind or even gold coins or even bonus shares. Does this mean company cannot issue bonus shares? No, they can, but not in lieu of dividend. Correct? So within 30 days this dividend has to be paid. If it remains unpaid, then what? Within 7 days we have to transfer it to another account called as unpaid dividend account. If after transfer of to UDA account, then within a period of 90 days, what should be prepared? A statement. Statement containing these details. First is names, address and unpaid dividend, and put this up on the website of the company and any other website as specified by CG. And after transfer to UDA, if it remains unpaid for a period of 7 years, then it will be transferred to IEPF. Correct? The fund is set up under section 125. Let us look at the section numbers once again. First, when the dividend is declared, it should be transferred within 5 days to a separate bank account under section, as mentioned under section 123. Payment to be done within 30 days. This is mentioned under 127. 127 also says if not paid within 30 days, then interest at the rate 18% per annum. Then transfer to UDA within 7 days. This is given under 124. If not transferred to UDA, then interest at the rate 12% per annum. Within 90 days, prepare a statement. This is given under the same UDA section, which is 124. And if it remains unpaid, transfer to IEPF after 7 years. This is given also under the same section 124. The fund which is IEPF is under section 125. Correct? Now come to the textbook and see these points. Final dividend is the dividend that is declared where? At an AGM. The rate is recommended by the board of directors. This board jo rate recommend karta hai, what type of rate it is? Actually the maximum rate. Matlab, can the members reduce the rate? Yes. Can they increase the rate? No, they cannot. What type of business it is at an AGM? Ordinary business, and requires what resolution? OR only. Correct? So it is, the rate is recommended by the board of directors, but dividend is declared by the members. Correct? Between two AGMs, whenever a company declares a dividend, it will be called as an interim dividend. There are 4 sources to pay this dividend. First source is from the profits of the current year, or even profits of the previous year, or both profits of current year as well as previous year, and out of any money that is provided by CG or SG. So these are the four sources of dividend, correct? Before you pay dividend, whatever is the carried over previous year losses and depreciation has to be provided for, correct? Without providing that, can you declare the dividend? No, you cannot. Unrealized gains, notional gains, or gains arising out of revaluation of assets. What about these gains? They are excluded because they are notional, they have not yet been realized. So realized gains, can they be included? Yes. Capital profit, is it included? Yes, it is. Only and only if it is realized. If it is unrealized, do we include any type of a gain? We do not include, correct? Is it mandatory to transfer any percentage to the reserve? No. So board may decide how much percent of the profits is to be transferred to the reserve. I had told you earlier 1956 Act mein there was a rule, but 2013 Act does not mandate it at all. For banking companies, there is still a rule, 20% has to be transferred to a statutory reserve, which is a general reserve. But in case of companies, 2013 Act, does it specify any percent to be transferred? No. Can the board decide themselves how much transfer is to be made? Yes. If the board decides, can they not transfer anything to general reserve? Yes. So this is completely at the discretion of whom? Only and only the board of directors, correct? Can company pay dividend out of accumulated profits? Yes, it can. Two things can happen. Where are the accumulated profits? Either they are in P&L surplus or they are transferred to reserve. If they are in P&L surplus, how many conditions to be satisfied? No conditions to be satisfied. If they are transferred to reserves, then 4 conditions to be satisfied. First condition is what? The rate should not exceed how much? Average rate of the preceding 3 years. But this condition is not applicable if dividend was not declared for all of the preceding 3 years. Out of preceding 3 years, 1-2 साल में dividend declared है. Will this condition apply? Yes, and we also saw how are we going to derive the rate, correct? So when will this condition not apply? Only and only if in all of the 3 years, in each of these years, dividend was not declared, correct? Second condition is what? How much money are you going to take out from the reserve? Maximum 1/10 of the paid up share capital and free reserves. After you take out this money, first used to set off the losses, and after you take out, how much are you going to keep in the reserve? At least 15% of paid up share capital. So these are the 4 conditions. First is for rate, second condition is drawing, next condition is set off, and last is balance in that reserve, correct? But this rule doesn't apply to, again, a 100% government company. Can 100% government company pay dividend out of its reserves? Yes, it can, without complying with any conditions, correct? 100% government company mein member kaun hai? Government. So can money be given to the government? Yes, without satisfying any of these conditions. Is this clear? Okay. Then few more things over here. What is it? 5 days mein special separate bank account. In a scheduled bank you have to do interim dividend. Okay, interim dividend. Interim dividend, we have written something for this. है ना? Interim dividend के sources are what? P&L surplus, then profit of the year for which dividend is declared, and profit until the previous quarter ending. This can be utilized for declaring interim dividend. So this was the example also that we wrote down already. So interim dividend declared in April is for the period ending March, correct? So profit of 23-24 can be utilized, and profit until quarter ending previous. So if we have declared dividend in the month of November, we can use profit only until the previous quarter ending, that is quarter 1 and quarter 2, correct? एक महीना पहले we have made a lot of profit. Can we use that profit? No, we cannot. Even if previous quarter ending तक loss है, can we still declare a dividend? Yes. Is there any condition to be satisfied? Yes. One condition to be satisfied. The rate of dividend cannot be more than average rate for preceding 3 years. correct? So even if right now in this year we have made loss until the quarter ending previously, can we still declare an interim dividend? Yes, but only condition to be satisfied is the rate. Rate should not be more than average of the preceding 3 years, correct? Can interim dividend be declared out of reserves? No. Can it be declared out of reserves by complying with the 3-4 conditions? Also no. Only and only these 3 sources are available for interim dividend. Once again, tell what are the sources. First is P&L surplus. Second, profit of the financial year for which interim dividend is declared, and profit of until the previous quarter ending. Is this clear? Okay. Then next, payment of dividend. We covered this already. Prohibition covered. UDA talks about unpaid dividend account to be dividend to be paid within 30 days is given under section 127. If not paid within 30 days, transfer to UDA account within 7 days. Then prepare a statement within 90 days. If not, interest at the rate 12% per annum. Any person wants to claim this can claim it from the company until this date, and it will be transferred to IEPF when? After 7 years. So can the dividend be claimed from there? Yes. So their person will apply directly to IEPF. Not just this unpaid dividend, even the shares also will be transferred to IEPF. Correct? And UDA का contravention 124 का contravention हुआ तो company's fine is how much? 1 lakh rupees plus 500 per day, maximum of 10 lakhs, and officer is 25,000 plus 100 per day, maximum of 2 lakh rupees. What is IEPF section number 125? This IEPF is set up by whom? By CG. How many log are there in IEPF? 9 members. One is the chairman, one is the CEO, and balance 7 are other members. So IEPF एक fund है. So in this fund there will be credits and there will be debits. What are all the incomings to this fund? We remembered it based on these 4 heads. They are what? Government, then section numbers, then all the unpaids and others. So government related grants, donations and general revenue. Correct? Then section numbers, 3 section numbers we have. 205C is what? Is what? IEPF as per 1956 Act. Then under section 90 and under section 38. Correct? All the unpaids, all alphabets are what? D, 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 PS plus application money and that interest. Correct? And other points are what? Interest on investments, then share of fractional shares and others. Correct? You will surely have to go through this once so that you can form the sentence properly. What we revise is just the short form for everything, correct? 4 heads, what are they? Government, section numbers, unpaids and others. Government related, 3, what are they? Grants, donations and general revenue account. Then section numbers are 205C, then 90 and 38. Next one are unpaid, DDD, PS plus application money plus interest, and last is others. Others is 3 points. What are they? Interest on investment, then share of fractional shares and others. What the money in this fund will be utilized for how many purposes? 5 purposes. First is refund. Refund for what? All the unpaid, DDD, PS plus application money. Correct? Next is promotion. नाम ही है IEPF, so investor education and promotion awareness. Correct? Next is what? Distribution of discharge amounts amongst whom? The persons who have suffered losses. And next is what? To reimburse legal expenses for class action suits under these 2 sections, which are 37 and 245, and for any other incidental purpose. Once again, 5 utilizations. First is refunds. Refund is for all the unpaids. Next is promotion. So IEPF, correct? Next is for reimbursement to distribution to all the persons who have suffered losses. Next is reimbursement of legal fees for class action suits, and last one any other incidental purpose, right? Okay, handling of the fund, then CG will do this, authority will administer the fund, audit is to be carried out, annual report also has to be prepared, annual report and audit report, both of this will be laid in both the houses of the parliament. So specifically discussion will happen on IEPF as well, okay? Then 126 talks about what? Abeyance. So 126 talks about where a person has deposited the instrument of transfer with the company, but company has not yet registered the transfer. To whom should the dividend be given? What will happen to the dividend? It will be transferred to UDA. And what about any rights or bonus given during this time? It will be kept in abeyance. Once again, what has happened? Instrument of transfer is deposited with the company, and what has company done? Not yet registered this transfer. Means what? Share certificate transfer के नाम पे आ गया है क्या? नहीं आया है. So this is pending. Meanwhile, the company declares dividend. What will happen to dividend? It will go to UDA account. Meanwhile, company declares rights or bonus. What will happen to that? That will be kept pending. But dividend will not go to UDA account if the transferor gives it in writing that it should be paid to the transferee. Is this clear? Clear, everybody? Okay, this was under section 126. 127 talks about punishment. So dividend to be paid within 30 days. Either pay or actually posted. Posted within 30 days. If not, then company. Oh, एक second, sorry. Director, क्या punishment है? Amount wise, 1,000 rupees per day and imprisonment of up to 2 years. Is there any maximum limit on the fine? No. So minimum बस चलते रहेगा fine. How much is the fine? 1,000 rupees per day and 2 years, up to 2 years of imprisonment. What should the company also do is pay a simple interest at the rate 18% per annum. But company is not regarded as if company has committed an offense in these 5 cases. What are they? DDLJ plus others. First D is directions are given to the company and the company is not able to comply with the directions, and this has been communicated to the shareholder. Correct? Second one, D is dispute regarding who should receive dividend. Correct? Next one is L is by operation of law. Next one is J. J is what? Adjusted. So lawfully adjusted. So dividend has been adjusted against any sum that is due to the company from the shareholder. And last is any other reason but which is not due to default of the company. Correct? Once again, exemption means no offense if DDLJ plus other. First D is what? Direction. So I told you, no, kuch so bhi direction he is giving, give this money to my neighbors, chachas, uncles, ex-girlfriends, etc., etc. These directions, can they be complied with? No. And this has been communicated. Correct? Second is D again. What is it? Dispute. So who has to receive dividend? ये court case pending है. Correct? Next is ऑपरेशन ऑफ लॉ. सो फ्रॉड प्रोसीडिंग चल रहा है इसके अगेंस्ट, तो इसका अकाउंट फ्रीज हो गया है. नो इनकमिंग, नो आउटगोइंग फ्रॉम द अकाउंट. कैन कंपनी ट्रांसफर डिविडेंड टू हिम? नो. नेक्स्ट वन, lawfully adjusted. So any amount due from the shareholder, can this be adjusted against the dividend? Yes. And last is what? Any other reason. So post office की गलती की वजह से this could not be posted. It is not the company's fault. Clear? Revocation of dividend. Dividend once declared cannot be revoked. But can it be revoked? Yes. So it can be revoked in case of catastrophic events. And who will decide whether it is to be revoked or not? Board. Okay. That's it. Is this clear? 123 section is what? Declaration of dividend. 124 is 124 UDA, 125 IEPF, 126 abeyance, 127 is penalty, punishment and penalty. Clear? What is the punishment for not paying dividend within 30 days? Come, directors ka 1,000 rupees per day plus up to 2 years of imprisonment. Maximum No limit. And company? 18% interest per annum. Two types of interest we have in this chapter. One is over here 18%, another is 12% for transfer to UDA. Transfer to UDA has to be done within 7 days of payment or post. If not done, then interest is at the rate 12% per annum. Clear? No offense in case if company does how many things? DDLJ plus others. What are they? Directions. So two conditions over there. Then next is dispute. Then L, operation of law. J, lawfully adjusted, and any other reason, but there is no fault of the company. Simple. Let's revise foreign companies. Foreign companies is, CIOI is what chapter? Chapter 22 of Companies Act. The section numbers covered here are from to what? 379 to 393. What is the meaning of foreign company? How many essentials to be satisfied? 4. What are they? It is either a company or a body corporate which is incorporated outside India, having a POB in India and conducts any business activity in India. This POB that is there in India either can be by itself or through an agent, and this can be in what form? Either physical or even electronic mode. Correct? What do you mean by conducting a business activity in India? Profit होना चाहिए क्या? ऐसा कुछ है? No. What should be present? The intention to carry out a business. So if you go and tell them you want to purchase goods, if they are going to say yes, we are willing to sell it to you, then it means there is a business activity in India. Correct? Airline companies that open their dabba over here, is that also considered as a foreign company? Yes. Is that also considered as if it is a POB in India? Yes. What about share transfer and share registration office? That also is considered as if it is POB. CIOI, that is company incorporated outside India, and FC, that is foreign company, are they one and the same? No, which is a broader term. CIOI, which includes foreign company. Foreign company means having a POB in India. CIOI means may or may not have it. So, agar may not have it, if it does not have a POB in India, will this chapter 22 apply? No. So see, all these companies which are outside India, when they want to do business in India, there are 4 ways in which they can do. First is they incorporate a subsidiary or an associate in India. Correct? Where they are incorporating in India, then what act is going to apply to the subsidiary or associate? Our entire Companies Act. Correct? Nestle India, which act is applicable? Entire Companies Act, because it is a subsidiary. Correct? If it is Starbucks, then what is going to apply? Again Companies Act. Why? Because it is a joint venture, it is an associate. Correct? If it is a company incorporated outside India but has got a POB in India, then we will call it as a foreign company. What are we going to apply? Only and only chapter 22. Are we going to apply whole Companies Act? No. And if it is CIOI not having a POB in India, can we call it as a foreign company? No, we'll just call it as a CIOI. Are we going to apply entire chapter 22? No, but we will apply only certain provisions. They are what? 387 until 390. These are with respect to what? With respect to issue of IDRs, issue of securities. Correct? तो अगर POB in India है ही नहीं, but फिर भी security issue कर रहा है, then we are going to apply these provisions. Correct? Are you getting this? Yes? Okay. Then what is this? First part, definition of foreign company. Electronic mode means what they have given. Electronic mode is not limited to, matlab anything can be covered under electronic mode. Few examples they have given. If it is a B2B transaction or B2C transaction, it is electronic mode. Accepting deposit, inviting deposit, what is this? Financial settlement, online services, all of these are electronic mode. First section, section 379 talks about applicability of this act. Correct? What based applicability is this? Shareholding based applicability. If more than 50% of paid up share capital is held by whom? Indians. Indians can be whom? Either individuals or body corporates or individuals plus body corporates. Then for their global business, we will apply only chapter 22. For their Indian business, we will apply chapter 22 plus other prescribed provisions. So this is deemed to be an Indian company, and these are the provisions that we are going to apply, correct? And if it is less than 50% held by Indians, then what are we going to apply? It is a foreign company, and we will apply what? Only and only chapter 22. Clear? This was what section number 379. 380 talks about documents to be filed. So what happens if it's a foreign company, means having a POB in India? What should it do once it opens a POB in India? Within 30 days file FC1 with ROC. But since this is the first incorporation level ka document, which ROC are you going to file it? With CRC. Any other document where we say filed with ROC, it is with ROC New Delhi only, correct? If it is a foreign company in Hyderabad का भी तो ROC है, but where will you submit this? Only and only New Delhi. But for this purpose, FC1 is submitted where? CRC, correct? How many documents to be submitted? Many. How do we remember these documents? Based on COI, based on place, based on person. COI related. Certified documents which define the constitution of the company, means what? Their MOA or AOA or charter or any instrument, and if it is not in English, then translated copy in English, correct? And second document is any other information that is prescribed. Place related, 3 details. First is full address of the registered office. Next is POB ka address in India and old POBs, their opening and closing details, correct? And next person related, list of their BODs and CS by whatever name they are called as. Next, a representative in India, his name and address, and a declaration that by board and representative that they are not convicted from formation of the company. Along with this, agar if applicable, then attested copy of approval of whom? RBI or any other regulators, and if not applicable, then a declaration by representative that this attested copy is not required, correct? This declaration, this approval is not required. Fine. Once again, how many documents to be filed? Many. What are they based on? COI, place and person. COI related, defining the constitution of the company. Next is other info prescribed. Place related, their full address, POB's address and old POBs, opening and closing details. Person related, list of BOD and CS. Then in India का representative and ये दोनों लोगों का declaration that they are not convicted. If there is any change to any of this, then file FC2 within 30 days with ROC, correct? First FC1 to be filed within 30 days of opening of POB, and if there is any change to be filed within 30 days of such changes, correct? ये section हो गया. Anything here? Did we miss anything? Covered everything? Okay, next 381 talks about accounts of foreign company. Now what is this foreign company required to prepare? Its financial statement at these 3 levels, we can say. First is for every individual POB in India, then pura India level ka. What is it? All the Indian POBs and pura. What is it? Consolidated POB outside India. If it is not in English, then a translated copy. Plus in the form FC3, what is required every year? Updated list of all POBs in India as on which date? As on balance sheet date. Iske alawa 3 other statements. What are they? Statement of related party transaction, statement of repatriation of profit and statement of transfer of funds. So where FC is sending to its own company which is outside India, it is repatriation of profit. Where any other form of money is being transferred, it will be transfer of funds. All these 4 documents to be prepared and filed within 6 months of close of financial year. An extension can be granted for how many? Maximum up to 3 months, correct? Now see, we do not have any AGM over here. So time limit is going to be from the close of financial year. So 4 documents to be submitted. First is financial statement. individual level, India level and full world, correct? And along with statement of related party transaction, repatriation of profit and transfer of funds within how many days? 6 months from close of financial year. ये जो financial statements and documents to be attached and annexed will be as per chapter 9 which we read as per Companies Act, correct? And audit related provisions also are exactly the same as per chapter 10. Mutandis applicable means what? Same applicable with certain changes, correct? Then next 382 talks about display of what? Name of the company, country where it's incorporated and liability of the members. This has to be conspicuously and in legible characters, correct? Conspicuously exhibit means what? It should be visible and it should also be readable, understandable. कहाँ पे display करने का है? Outside every POB, on every official publication and even in prospectus. Outside POB hai, you will have more place on the wall. Put it in what? English language as well as vernacular language of that place. And if it is on document, itna zaruri nahi hai. Only English language. Is this clear? Yes. 383 talks about service of documents. So who wants to give documents where? ROC to this FC. तो किसको दे सकता है? Either representative in India or address that is mentioned as POB, correct? And this will be document served. How is it given? Either physical or electronic form, correct? 384 talks about certain sections to be applicable. Talks about how many sections over here? 5. What are they? First is 71. 71 is debentures. 92 is annual return. 128 is books of accounts. 77 to 87 charges, and 206 to 230 is chapter 14, which we don't have in our syllabus. ये पूरे sections apply, but for annual return it is to be filed in the form FC4 within 60 days. 60 days from end of the financial year. Is this okay? Correct? Okay. 385 talks about fees. Fees may be as prescribed. 386 is interpretation of certain terms. 387 is about, okay, so 387, 388, 389 and 390. 390 talks about what? IDRs. Can IDRs be issued? Yes, when we saw GDR under section 40, 41, GDR में क्या हुआ था? What did our Indian company do? Issued shares to the foreign depository, but they were kept in a domestic custodial bank. This foreign depository then gave receipts either by way of public offer or by way of private placement, correct? Same way, if the GDR is issued in America, it is called as ADR. If it is issued in India, it is called as IDR. So foreign company outside India, what can they do is issue shares to Indian depository. Their shares will be kept there only in their domestic custodial bank. So यहाँ के depository से when we are taking these shares, instead of the shares, what are we going to get? Receipt, and that receipt is called as IDR. So who can make rules with respect to IDRs? CG. We also have to comply with SEBI as well as RBI guidelines, correct? Now for this 390 also, 387 onwards sections apply, right? Now 387 onwards are applicable until 390 are applicable not just to a foreign company but even to a CIOI, even if they do not have a POB in India, correct? So either a foreign company or a CIOI, what they want to do is issue securities where? In India. What they have to do is issue a prospectus. This prospectus compulsorily has to be dated and signed. Two things are required to be complied with. First is contents. Contents is same as per section 26. Along with that, certain additional details are required. Additional details are what? How many? 5 details. What are they? The constitution document of that company. Then the law under which it is incorporated. Next, the address where these documents can be inspected. And if it is in a foreign language, then a translated English copy. Next one, the date and country of that incorporation and POB in India. If so, what is the relevance of if so here? If it is CIOI, it will not have a POB. So agar POB hai, to mention that. Okay, once again, 5 details required. What are they? Constitution of the company, then document, sorry. Yes, law of incorporation, then Address where it can be inspected along with English copy, then date and country of incorporation and POB in India. Correct. ये 3 documents, first 3 points are not applicable if the foreign company is in India for more than 2 years, right? So we already know it is in India, so we know that company. अभी ये सब बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, okay? Then is there any contract or any agreement by which these provisions can be waived off? No, never ever can these provisions be waived. They will always be applicable, correct? The next section also, next part also says, whenever company is issuing an application form, along with that it is required to issue a prospectus and also comply with section 388. But this prospectus will not be required in these 3 cases. First is underwriters, issued to underwriters. Next is where issue is only to existing members or debenture holders, and if it is uniform with respect to same as previous issue and they are listed on a stock exchange. ये 3 cases में what is not required? Prospectus is not required. Clear? Then 388 talks about expert. Expert should always give his written consent. He should not have withdrawn his consent, and the fact that he has given his consent and not withdrawn his consent is stated in the prospectus. And where in the prospectus? On the face of the prospectus. So this is section 388, correct? 388 also tells us these 2 are applicable. They are 33 and 40, but बाद का section also tells ये बीच के भी sections applicable है. So from 33 to 40, all of the sections are applicable to a foreign company, right? Then 389 talks about filing with ROC. So if it is a CIOI or it is a foreign company, compulsorily it is required to file this prospectus. When should it be filed? Before it is issued, correct? And filing के साथ all these things to be satisfied. First point, it should be certified by whom? Chairperson and 2 directors. Second, the prospectus should state that it is filed and compliance is required with section 388. Along with the prospectus, these 5 documents also are required to be filed. So we saw how you remember this is MO in Paris. So E stands for what? Experts written consent. M for MD और मैनेजर के साथ वाला कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. नेक्स्ट M for मटेरियल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ how many years? Preceding 2 years. And U is underwriting agreement, and P related to things, power of attorney and prospectus. So prospectus के साथ these 5 documents to be filed, correct? Prospectus will contain 5 additional details. Prospectus के साथ 5 more documents to be filed. What are the 5 additional details? Constitution document, correct? Law under which it is incorporated, inspection. Next, date and country of incorporation and POB if so, correct? And 5 documents along with prospectus are MO in Paris. What are they? Experts written consent, MD manager के साथ contract, material contracts of preceding 2 years, then underwriting agreement, and last power of attorney. All of this is along with the prospectus, correct? 390 is CG can make rules with respect to IDRs, right? Then we have what? कुछ तो एक बीच में ना extra addition. Chapter 15. Chapter 15 is applicable. वही है ना? Yes. Chapter 15 with respect to compromise, arrangements and amalgamation is applicable. So 2 authorities ka power is required, not just CG but even RBI. RBI can make rules, and though these have to be complied with, correct? So certain other thing that it says about 234 section. Okay, follow the act prior approval of RBI, the scheme, ये सब provide करो. Okay. 391 talks about certain other sections to be applicable, which is 34 to 36 and even chapter 20. 34 section number is what? 34 criminal liability, 35 civil liability, 36 inducing another person. This is applicable even if over here as well. And chapter 20 is about winding up. That also is applicable, correct? Then next we have punishment. This is the only section for punishment in entire chapter. So 392 में punishment is given. So any provision of chapter 22, if it is contravened, then company's fine is how much? 1 lakh to 3 lakhs plus 50,000 per day, and officer's fine is how much? 25,000 to 5 lakhs. Correct? Then section 393 is applicable if correct, if default happens, है ना? So अगर default हुआ तो two sections are applicable, 392 as well as 393. 392 talks about the monetary, the penalty, and 393 talks about the disqualification, cannots. Correct? What are the cannots? It cannot sue, cannot claim, set off, cannot even defend itself, counter claim, है ना? But what about other person filing a suit? Yes, that is allowed. So similar to partnership ka disqualification, right? हो गया बस. Then what is it? Rule 12 applies. So any person who is not a foreign company but he is overacting to be a foreign company, then investigation will happen under section 210. And last point, which says CG can exempt foreign companies from complying with certain provisions with respect to offer or prospectus or etc. Where? In IFSC. So the stock exchange that is there in IFSC, India Inc. right now, there is exemption. वहाँ पर अगर listed है, you don't have to comply with these provisions. No need to remember that, but remember who has the power to grant exemptions? CG. हो गया बस, chapter is done. Okay, some comparisons we wrote down over here. Incorporation for an Indian company with which ROC to be done? CRC. And for foreign company? CRC. Subsequent filing is the state ROC wherever registered office is situated. In case of FC test, it is only and only New Delhi, irrespective of where it is located, and filing of financial statement within 30 days of AGM as per section 137. For foreign company, it is 6 months of close of financial year. Correct? Annual return filing is 60 days of AGM as per section 92. For foreign company, it is 60 days of close of financial year in the form FC4. Annual return LLP के केस में भी है क्या? Yes, in the form 11 filed within 60 days of close of financial year. एक और एक कुछ लगता है क्या? Similar financial statement SAS in the form 8 filed prepared within 6 months, filed within 1 month of 6 months of end of the financial year. For foreign company, filed within 6 months of end of financial year. Correct? Yes? Is this clear? Is this simple? I think after we did this, we did LLP. If you have place over here, LLP का भी ये 2 points लिख लो. SAS and annual return का filing. Fine? Did we miss any point? Did we cover everything? Yes? Okay. 22 minutes का revision only.